Number 1048 CR 515, sir, alleges that on January 21st, 2010, in the town of Littleton, he did commit 2 counts of threatening to commit a crime. He committed annoying telephone calls. And then on January 21st, 2010, in the town of Littleton, complaint 1048 CR 116 alleges that he threatened to commit a crime and he committed criminal harassment, sir.
Okay, sir, the court is going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. The court previously appointed Attorney Singer on your behalf, and there will be a $150 fee associated with that appointment, not payable today, but payable by the next time you're in court. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And I understand that the Commonwealth is asking for bail on this matter? Okay, and are both the Commonwealth and Defense Counsel prepared to proceed on that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold just a moment, please. Okay, I'll hear from the Commonwealth.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth is requesting $5,000 cash bail. In addition, the Commonwealth is requesting that if the defendant does pose that $5,000 cash bail, that he be placed on a bracelet. The Commonwealth is also asking for an order not to abuse the alleged victims in the case and have no contact with the alleged victims. Your Honor, the Commonwealth's request
What is the cash amount that the Commonwealth is seeking again?
$5,000.
Okay, please continue.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth's request is based both on the facts of the case as well as the defendant's board of probation. The facts, as alleged, are that on January 21st of 2009, officers of the Littleton Police Department were dispatched were met at the station by individuals who stated that they were receiving a multitude of phone calls from an individual known as Mr. Charles Douai, the defendant before you, of Lunenburg, Massachusetts. One of the individuals advised the officer that she was involved in a battered women's program and took another individual of that program into her home. She was allegedly being abused by her boyfriend, the defendant. Another individual is a friend of the and stays at her residence as well. Since took into her residence, have been receiving a number of phone calls from the defendant in which at times are threatening. Officers were shown the caller ID from home and observed that the phone number on that was showed multiple times. Told the officer that that phone number is the defendant's phone number. Advised the officers that Douai had made threats against her as well as her children. Played a voicemail off the phone that stated in a voice, "I'm going to effing shoot you." At this point, officers continued to speak with the individuals about these threats. Advised that Mr. Douai had made a single phone call to him stating he was going to shoot him and his mother. Officers asked if he was in fear of Douai, to which he confirmed he was. Advised officers that she has received many calls from Douai advising her that she should sleep with her eyes open, that Mr. Douai knows the truck, and that she better watch herself. Very afraid of leaving the house, going to appointments and such. She stated that she believes Mr. Douai knows a number of people and that he's capable of anything. Officers did call the numbers on the ID and left messages stating to stop calling me. Officers took statements from with respect to the alleged calls.
What is the full name of the alleged victim?
Your Honor, officers later responded and spoke with She stated that Mr. Douai has been threatening to kill her and calling her repeatedly, has been harassing her and her friends. She stated that throughout the days she's been receiving disturbing phone calls from Mr. Douai in which he's threatened to bury her or destroy her. He's also made threats to kill her friends and family and made insinuations to and he would do the same to them. Officers spoke with Ms. Further, she stated she felt very strongly about Douai and his capability of carrying out his threats, that he's made threats in the past, that they were involved in a relationship and that relationship was very violent. She described instances in which he spread rubbing alcohol on her and attempted to light her on fire. She stated there was also a strangulation incident, but did not go into further detail with respect to that. She stated that she would like a 209A order, and I believe officers did provide her with information with respect to that 209A order, Your Honor. Officers followed up with this investigation and spoke with further. She would get very upset each time officers would speak with her. She went on to describe the specific threats to kill her friends and her fear that he is very capable of carrying out these threats. That would be the sum and substance of the facts as alleged, Your Honor. The Commonwealth's request for bail is also with respect to the defendant's Board of Probation record, which shows 15 convictions for various offenses. Some of those offenses are violent offenses, such as assault and battery with dangerous weapon, assault and batteries. I believe he has 2 or 3 convictions for violent offenses. Your Honor, he also shows a Board of Probation, has a Board of Probation record which reflects a possible drug habit, although this was back in 2000, Your Honor. But I would suggest that, and in addition, a potential alcohol problem also goes to the defendant's ability to come back to court and answer to these charges. In addition, Your Honor, there are 4 prior restraining orders that have been taken out against this defendant, 2 involving the victim, here in this case, 2 involving different victims, Your Honor. For all of these reasons, the Commonwealth is asking for $5,000 cash bail, and that the defendant be placed on a bracelet should he post that $5,000.
Counsel.
Your Honor, I have had an opportunity to interview Mr. Douai, and based on Chapter 276-58, there are a number of criteria that the court will use to make its decision. Mr. Douai is requesting personal recognizance. Of course, the issue of danger to persons in the community is first and foremost in everyone's mind. And the court has heard some very serious allegations. Mr. Douai denies making any of these threats. Indeed, Mr. Douai has stated to me that he and Ms. Mahoney were boyfriend and girlfriend. And the facts in the police report do state that Ms. does have mental issues and chronic physical issues. Mr. Douai relates that she has ongoing chronic drug and alcohol problems. Indeed, I also spoke with Ms. Susan Kramer, who's here in the courtroom today. Ms. Kramer is the mother of alleged victim, the girlfriend of the defendant. And Ms. Kramer stated to me that last Wednesday, she was so afraid for her daughter's health that she filed a petition in Fitchburg District Court, which was granted for Section 35, where Ms. was the respondent. This would have been on February 3rd in Fitchburg District Court. And she's informed me since that date, her daughter has been on the run. Ms. Kramer allowed Mr. Douai and his girlfriend to live with her in her home in Lunenburg until a couple of weeks ago left and went to live with this other resident. And I was informed that they all used drugs together and that Indeed, Mr. Douai was so concerned about his girlfriend's drug use and her odd behavior that he himself, 2 or 3 weeks ago, contacted the Lunenburg Police Department and requested a home visit. And Officer Demers from the Lunenburg Police Department came to their home and spoke with Mr. Douai about this young lady. Don't know the results of that. But they lived with Ms. Kramer since 2009, September 2009. Mr. Douai works as a seasonal painter. He's self-employed. He only works when he can paint, weather permitting, and he hasn't been able to paint. He has no resources. He claims that many years ago with an OUI, he attended a 24D program, but other than that, he takes no medications, has no mental health, no substance abuse issues that he's been court ordered. He's lived in the area for many years. Now, he does have a record of a number of convictions, Your Honor. Most recently was 7 years ago. The only defaults I see on his record are a money issue after a guilty finding in 2003, and a default after a guilty finding in 1994 that has to do with money, and one default in 1990. He has no aliases that he uses. As far as a violation of a restraining order, this same alleged victim did file a restraining order on January 21st, but it expired approximately 10 days later, on February 3rd. She allowed it to expire. He's not on bail on any other charges. And one of these alleged defendants, the male, Mr. Zanin, has been in contact with both the defendant and Ms. Kramer in the past week and informed them that Ms. is in danger of drug use, and that this other alleged victim she was staying with has thrown her out of the house.
Was the defendant arrested on these charges?
I don't believe so.
No, he was sentenced. It was up there.
May I continue?
You may.
If bail was set, Mr. Douai is going to have a very hard time coming up with any resources because he's out of work and had been for a number of months. If an Elmo is decided that that's the way to proceed, he's informed me that he could come up with the $30 to $50 to have a landline installed at his home that he's renting from Ms. Kramer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, counsel. Commonwealth, you asked for no abuse and no contact orders with respect to who?
Three alleged victims. There's yes, those three. I believe there's 2 charges for threats and 1 annoying telephone calls charge. So 3 separate victims.
Okay.
And in fact, Mr. Douai would agree not only to refrain from any abuse, he would agree to refrain from any contact.
The court is setting bail in the amount of $5,000 cash. I think the Commonwealth's request is a reasonable one. I'm not going to impose the backup bracelet. However, I am going to order no abuse and no contact orders with respect to all 3 of the individuals named by the Commonwealth. Anything further at this time? Madam Clerk.
On 1048 CR 115 and 116, and putting it from both cases of this one.
that is going on 0116.
And I have a brief question. There are two complaints.
Are you asking for bail on the other complaint as well?
Well, just a point of clarification. The two complaints share two charges. One of the complaints has one additional charge. They appear to be the same, just appear to be a duplicate.
I suggest that you, Madam Clerk, I'm going to change that. I'm going to put it on the lead case. I'm going to put it on 115.
Your Honor, I apologize, I just found the second complaint, and I believe the threats would be to the 3 separate victims, and then there's a criminal harassment and normal telephone charges as well with respect to the victims.
Okay, well, I need some clarification with respect to the complaint. Might be made at the next hearing.
That's fine.
No, I'm just going to make that a part of the. I'm just going to make that the note.
So on 1048 CR 115, report orders you to recognize the Commonwealth the sum of $5,000 cash or $50,000 in sureties for which you stand committed to Cambridge Jail. You do have a right to petition Superior Court for the bail amount set today. Attorney Singer has been appointed to represent you. There's a $150 fee that's assessed on 115. On 112, there is no additional fee assessed. Attorney Singer has been appointed to represent you. This matter stand continue to what day?
I'm requesting a short date of February 19th.
Come on.
That's fine.
For retrial.
This matter stands continue February 19, 2010 for the retrial hearing. Conditionally, you're also ordered the bill warrants were given to you as well, sir, that you have no contact and you stay away from the 3 victims in this case. If you do not comply with those terms and conditions, you will without bail.